Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now...
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Disclosures of the Third Kind. You're listening to me, Christian Stefanizzi. Today's episode is going to be a brief one, but it's talking about pilots and encounters that people are experiencing, which are actually quite dangerous, while the government sits there and denies it all, which is actually quite, in my opinion, quite naive. I won't say naive, but actually quite stupid. That's the best word I can find for it. Because, and I'll give you a few examples. I get reports day in and day out from people experiencing this phenomenon. It's real, with video evidence, I will say. But what's the cause? You think about it. You're flying on an airline, Ryanair, British Airways, American Airlines, any of those. You think about it. Going on holiday somewhere, a UFO then swoops over the plane, cuts all the lights out, cuts all the electronics, because that's what have happened in the past with these UFO encounters. They just seem to completely cut the electrics on anything they come near, which renders it useless, which means that you sat there thinking, are we going to crash? Which genuinely could happen. The engine's cut out, and this has happened time and time again. Yeah, it's very dangerous actually, and you don't know how long this UFO is going to be in that vicinity. It could zip off straight away, which means that which in cases in the 60s and the 70s I've read in MUFON, APRO, NICAP, they detail encounters where UFOs come very close to the aircrafts. They render the electronics completely useless. They cut the engines. Pilots are sitting there thinking, what the hell are we going to do now? They can see the UFO close to the plane. A few seconds later, it'll disappear or get away from the aircraft. All the electronics come back online. Now, I believe from my reading, this is something to do with what the UFOs or the sources are propelled by, which is electromagnetic propulsion, which would make sense when it comes into contact with... We've had engines cut out as well in the 50s and the 60s, and even before that. I think 1957 in Texas, there was a massive disc-shaped UFO that hovered over the highway, cut out a lot of people's engines. All they could do was look up and see this UFO in the sky. As soon as it left the vicinity, all the engines came back on that worked like normal. Now, you've got all this happening, and I will say, while the government's sitting there going, don't worry about it, what you're seeing isn't real. Well, clearly it is, because it's there, hovering over the plane, causing massive disruption, to cars. Actually caused a massive disruption to a Malmstrom Air Force Base in 1967, where it actually physically rendered missiles useless. It switched them all online at one point, where they were actually going to fire. They had 15 seconds before the launch sequence, fired them, and then the UFO disappeared, and then it all went back offline. So you've actually got a seriously big problem, and the government is there denying it. It's very, very, very dangerous. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, folks. This is only a brief episode, but it's just my thoughts really on why it's so important to take this seriously and not just palm it off. Because people sit there and tell me, well, it can't be real. Well, clearly it is real when people are actually physically experiencing these things. And that's not even going into abductions. That's another thing entirely. Where people are actually being abducted. Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber, Bessie and Barney Hill, that are actually being abducted and taken aboard craft and tested and then dropped by the Greys, by mantis type beings, the negative type beings that we know about. So yeah, and all this is happening, and we're told it's not real. Yeah, I don't think so. It's ridiculous. All these people, again, in the US or the UK and any other country, this would be enough to put all this testimony like that of Roswell would be enough to put a man in jail. Why is it not enough to push the government to say, yeah, okay, folks, we're listening? I just don't understand. It's a very bizarre set of double standards that exist. Yeah. Follow me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Disclosures of the Third Kind. Keep watching those skies and be very careful out there, because we're definitely not alone.